not been here for 2 weeks, so I'm still back in that last week in July, so I want to finish it up. And this is, even though the rest of August is going to be about the consciousness of abundance. So the talk today is entitled Abundance. So, a beggar had been sitting by the side of the road for over 30 years. One day a stranger walked by. "Spare some change?" mumbled the beggar, mechanically holding out his old baseball cap. "I'm sorry, I have nothing to give," said the stranger. And then he asked, "What's that you're sitting on?" "Nothing," replied the beggar. "Just an old box I have always sat on for as long as I can remember." "You ever look inside?" said the stranger. "No," said the beggar. "What's the point? There's nothing in there." "Take a look inside," insisted the stranger, and the beggar managed to pry open the lid, and with astonishment and disbelief and elation, he saw that this box had been filled with gold. So my friends, the story is an illustration that sometimes we have been sitting on a gold mine. And this morning we bring our powerful month of July. Of course it's to a close because it's over. But we bring it to a close by exploring what it truly means to have a spiritual dance called abundance. I mean, what does it really mean? So I love getting into the true meaning of these spiritual qualities, and it's a spiritual quality of God. Today I want to share with you some deeper understandings that need to take place in order for us to create that life of abundance. And remember, as we said earlier in July, the concept of abundance isn't exclusive to material wealth. It just isn't. There's so much more to life that's abundant. So let's start defining abundance in an expanded way. First, we think about the word, and what does it mean to you? Words are very powerful. It's like, what is the first feeling you feel when that word abundance is spoken? And so what is truly abundance? Abundance is really a state of mind. It is a consciousness, the consciousness of our being. It is what we truly know, what we truly feel. Do we really believe we're abundant children of the divine? And it's not just having things or experiences. It truly is the consciousness that attracts things and experiences. It's not having them. It's like, what do you believe? Do you know that the universe truly supports you? Always, in all ways. And that is really the truth. But do you know that? It is a way of living, thinking, and being and acting in this world. That's the consciousness. Great book is The Abundance Book, a little green book by John Randolph Price. It's a 40-day practice of manifesting abundance, but it really is truly all about the consciousness of abundance, our consciousness. And so as this story illustrates, we sometimes are all sitting on a gold mine and don't even know it. So this morning, as we bring this powerful month to a close, by doing that spiritual dance, we're going to go into really deeper dialogue or meaning of what it really means. Let's start with defining abundance, which we kind of just did. You could probably think of people, here's another way to think of it. Think of people who truly look so wealthy. They have so much, they have everything going for them, all the physical things in the world they could ever need or desire already present, and yet they hoard. They live in fear, and I've known people like this, that it is going to be taken away from them somehow, some way. People are ripping me off. That's a mindset I've heard. You know, all kinds of ways of holding on. That's living in fear. That's living in lack. So they're not living an abundant life. So it's not about the material wealth and well-being. And there are others who might be considered or have considered a meager life. They don't have a whole lot, but they have everything they need when they need it. They feel completely secure and happy. So they are, in my mind, they are feeling abundant. So they have that abundance consciousness going. The Bible is so rich with metaphors about our consciousness. One of the 12 spies Moses sent out to the promised land was Joshua. When he returned from that prosperous land, he described it as rich in every way. He brought back the evidence in these beautiful, juicy, tasty grapes. It's an abundant land. He said it was the land of milk and honey. But he alone saw that. The other 11 spoke only in negative terms. They spoke of giants and other reasons why they should not go forward. So Moses decided to wait, and he waited for the next 40 years. Moses, Joshua, and the children of Israel just roamed the desert, just on the border of prosperity. But Joshua kept that prosperity consciousness no matter what. He kept it. And so when Joshua became the leader of the people, he waited no longer, but led the people into the land of milk and honey, in just 3 days. 3 days it was accomplished. In Hebrew, the name Joshua is identical to Jesus, and both of them mean and are derived from I am that I am. They are both derived from that. And that symbolizes our oneness consciousness, which is what we believe here at Joyful Gathering, that there is only one. We're not separate from the good. We are the good. The good, the gold is living within us. It's living. It's like the beggar on the side of the road sitting on a box of gold and not knowing it. So too are we. We have within us all the capacities and possibilities we could ever want. But I'm gonna show us how we're gonna do that today. Edwin Gaines, fantastic prosperity teacher. She says that there are 3 extremely important and powerful things, which are the same 3 examples of things we can tell ourselves to keep us on our pathway to God's plenty, our journey of the joy of spirit, and our course of conscious creation. Because that's how we want to create, consciously. Whenever things look scary, and sometimes they look a little fearful, here are 3 things. Pay attention. Number 1. 2, always expect the best. Always expect the best. And number 3 is go for it. Take that first step. And then you walk, and then you dance. You dance into this abundant way of living life in joy. And as the reading said, in beauty. The beauty of life is all about us. Do we see it? Do we experience it? So first, pay attention. Pay attention to 2 things. First, to the lavish abundance and support of the universe it's naturally providing to us. And you do know that when you go out into nature, I just got back from the Great Lakes, the Great Lake of Michigan, and it's like, talk about abundance. I mean, sitting there, it's like an ocean. It's a lake. This is all created by this divine energy of abundance. Do you see it? you see it when you're out in nature and you see the beautiful trees and the lakes and the animals? Are you appreciating them? It's been said that an inquisitive fellow decided he wanted to compute how much money it costs a day to feed all the birds in the world. Some people have time like that. But he also, he was a scientist type and knew his computers, so he was going to do this little bit of work. And he put in all this input into the data, into the computer bank. And you know what the result was? He found out there's not enough wealth in all the nations of the world to feed the birds for one day. And so, thank goodness the birds didn't know that. Just look at it and stop and think about that. There's not enough wealth in all the world to feed all of these birds for one day. But do the birds get fed? No, they do. The first step in developing a deeper, richer, more holy dance with divine abundance, then, is to pay attention to the presence, the power in this universe that has already lavishly provided you with good. In its every form, it's there, trust me, the good of ideas. You get to create ideas. Right there you have everything, because everything is based on an idea. You know, the divine thought, a thought, or whatever it thinks, if it thinks. But it creates, is the point. And we create with our thoughts. To clarify your own thinking, your thoughts and feelings about God as your source, how deeply do you believe and know that there truly is one source of all good? When we think our source, many channels, as I say, we think our source is this one area. And then that area goes away. What to do then? Your abundance, you put it all on that one area. It's not your job, it's not your spouse, it's not this or that. It is staying in alignment with the universal good and truly believing it no matter what it feels like, no matter what the circumstances. And I love this passage from Hebrews chapter 3, verse 4. Every house is built by someone, but the builder of all things is God. Creates all that is, was, and ever shall be. Charles Fillmore, co-founder with his wife Myrtle of Unity, wrote in his great book, Prosperity, this: poverty or prosperity, it all depends on you. All the Father has is yours, but you alone are responsible for the relationship of the Father's good to your life. Through conscious recognition of your oneness with the Father and His abundance, you draw the living substance into visible supply. Through our consciousness, our belief that we are always taken care of in every way. We are always provided for. So first, pay attention to God's lavish abundance and support that already provided all that you were immersed in, because we are immersed in the one life, the one flow, when we get out of our own way, when we get out of our own way and pay attention to consciously creating. You are taken care of, so do we believe and know this? Really know it? Because when you do, you will experience incredible manifestations. This knowing, the knowing that God is the source and supply of all good, that's an abundance consciousness. If you hear, what's an abundance consciousness? I don't know. It's knowing that I am, to me, God is this divine energy, and this divine energy is always taking care of me, always providing for me, no matter what. The second part of paying attention, then, is paying attention to what inner work you might need to do, beliefs you need to let go of. where there are roadblocks in you to your greater good. There's something that is holding us back. The old, worn-out beliefs that are dragging along that need to be released, dissolved, let go of. Pay attention to that and do what you need to do to release it. Just to release them. And you can come up with a great affirmation to take the place of that old belief. Because if it's holding you back and it makes you feel lack and limitation, it is not serving you. So in the last few years, I've had to overcome many limiting beliefs. And I love the way the universe pushes. Sometimes it feels like we're being shoved, actually, out into the unknown. Change takes place, and it gets frightening. It's like, how am I going to survive? How am I going to pay for this? Oh my God, I'm going to live on the street. All these crazy things that run through our minds. When you stop and then say, wait a minute, the universe always supports me in every way. I know this, and keep that going. Even while it's amazing. To prove it to yourself, you really develop faith, but it's amazing how the universe does then supply. It is truly incredible. We face our fears and we keep moving through them. That's when transformation occurs. And that is all in paying attention. After you pay attention, then you just expect the best. How many people walk around and say, well, I expect the worst, or my favorite, feels like the other shoe's gonna drop. What's with the shoes? I never really understood that whole thing. And it felt really, I would hear it, later on in life as a kid, and it would be like, well, that's really weird. What shoe, And no, we are going to, from this day forward, expect the best. Expect the best. Again, Charles Fillmore in Prosperity wrote this: the spiritual substance from which comes all visible wealth is never depleted. It is right with you all the time and responds to your faith in it. Hear that? It responds to your faith in it and your demands on it. I love Mary Baker Eddy. She demands her good, and she demands it right now. The universal law is replying to that by providing exactly what she demanded. Back to Fillmore. It is not affected by our ignorant talk of hard times, though we are affected because our thoughts and words govern our demonstration. Pour your living words of faith, he says, into the omnipresent substance, and you will be prospered. Though all the banks in the world may close their doors. This is Charles Fillmore in the early 1900s. It's an incredible book, Prosperity. Think about the story of the woman who touched Jesus' garment and was healed. There were thousands of people in that crowd, but only the woman had the faith in that substance that got it. It was already established in her consciousness, and she knew that her needs would be met. She knew it. If she could make contact with the hem of Jesus' gown, robe, she expected to be healed. And if she could touch that robe, she would be. So it is through that expectation and faith that she became healed. Fillmore again in his book. Do not say money is scarce. The very statement will scare money away from you. You don't want to scare money away from you. You want to attract it to you. Do not say that times are hard with you. The very words will tighten your purse strings until omnipotence itself cannot slip a dime through. Begin now, he says, to talk plenty, think plenty, and give thanks for plenty. Enlist all the members of your home in the same work to do the same thing. Make it a game. It's lots of fun, he says, and better than that, it actually works. It actually works. Expect to be prospered. Expect it. Expectancy is very powerful. Expect to have all of your needs, wants, and desires taken care of for you. Through you, actually, through you. And if those things haven't occurred yet, then things are not finished. That's all it means. It means that there's more work to do. And I love the idea that all things are good in the end. So if it isn't good right now, it'll be good in the end. Just expect it to be good. That brings us to our last action, number 3. Go for it, take the first step. Got to take that step, always, always, always. Fear can feel like a wall, holding us back from our good. But it really isn't a wall at all. It's more like a membrane, like a veil, like a bubble. It's not real. It's our thoughts. It's our thoughts. And all you have to do to penetrate it is to go for it, to take that first step. A member of one of our classes, who's here with us today, shared a story a while back. I love this story, of how she was terrified of ziplining. Remember that? Yeah. Oh. But she was with her family at the time, and she was at the precipice of the cliff. She had a tremendous amount of fear and a mind that had a million excuses why she should not do this. But another voice within her really wanted to be part of this experience. She was with her family, and she knew her family would be talking about it and how they all did it together, and she could be part of that experience. And she really wanted to do it. So she took that first step, and wow, her life literally changes from overcoming her fear and taking that first step. I don't know if she ziplined since, but she did it once. To do it one time is incredible. So, you know, that's how it works. You've got to take that first step, even when you feel the fear. That's why I think Nike really just took that phrase and just really ran with it. Do it anyway. Just do it. Just do it. What a brilliant logo. And the logo's beautiful, but that's so perfect to go with it. So you've got to move forward in life, unless you want to be stagnant. That's your choice. And so taking that first step, and then the next, and then the next is the way we do it. And before you know it, you have this incredible manifestation in your life, and people are like, wow, how'd you do that? And it's like, I took the first step. That's how I did it. I took the first step. Small step, baby step, phone call, it could have been anything. But taking the first step to move forward. And what you can know is that the whole time, God is holding your hand. We are never alone. And to know that, to truly feel that, and know that is the greatest gift you can give yourself. So, to summarize the points. First, no, this isn't the first one, sorry. This is to summarize the points of abundance, to pay attention to God's lavish abundance. Oh, well, it is. This is the 3 points. So continue writing. God's lavish abundance is everywhere. Paying attention to this, as well as your inner work that always needs to be done. It's like constantly. Keep ourselves on track. The second, expect the best. If it isn't the best, it isn't finished. That's all that means. There's more to do. And 3, break through the membrane of fear by going for it and by taking that first step. So expect the best was second, and breaking through the membrane and taking the first step is third. So let me leave you, I love this, let me leave you today with this prayer by Fillmore. He calls it the 23rd Psalm Revised. And this is from his book, Prosperity. The Lord is my banker, my credit is good. He maketh me to lie down in the consciousness of omnipresent abundance. He giveth me the key to his strong box. He restoreth my faith in his riches. He guideth me on the paths of prosperity for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy silver and gold, they secure me. Thou preparest a way for me in the presence of the collector. Thou fillest my wallet with plenty. My measure runs over. Surely goodness and plenty will follow all the days of my life, and I shall do business in the name of the Lord forever. Isn't that a good one? I love that. Yeah. It's in his book. So as we dance this dance of abundance, right, we will firmly be on our pathway of God's plenty. We will be on our journey of the joy of spirit, and we will be on our way, our course of conscious creation. And so, my friends, I say, and so it is, because I know it is so, and so it is. Woo.